What is single point of failure? I don't know. Good question. But I was expecting answer. So Kunal, what is SPOF? No, no Google. No browsing in the class. Before class and after class. Yeah. So what is that? What is single point of failure? Kun- I mean,
I feel like if there is too much load in the server, they don't want it, so they load balance in between. Like if something happens with one server,
load balance.
like they not load balance, like they have some another server like to help if something happens.
Shahul, what is single point of failure?
It's like a part of system that fails, which will stop the entire system from working.
So any part in our system, right, that can cause system failure, right?
The whole system. That's right.
So any part that can be a hardware. Most of the time when we talk about single point of failure, there are two perspectives, hardware and software. So if we see only hardware, what are the components that can be a single point of failure?
RAM, hard disk,
So RAM, hard disks, Kunal, hmm? Pardon? Motherboard,
power supply,
hmm?
power supply,
So power,
processor,
yeah, processor. Anything else?
cooling systems.
That's yeah, NIC card.
Yeah, NIC card. So if we go only with these, what are the most crucial parts here?
Mm,
What you guys mentioned.
C-
Power supply,
CPU, power,
So power supply,
RAM,
RAM, all are critical. All of these are critical. So can we get redundancy when we say we are, we any of these components can be a single point of failure? If motherboard goes down, system will go down, right? So if RAM is crashed, system is crashed. If hard disk failed, we don't have any access to data, and operating system sits on top of hard drives as well. So processor, if CPU is not there, there is no processing, right? And network adapters, we cannot get connection with outer world. Otherwise, the least, you know, the significant component in these we have listed is network adapter, right? It's not going to bring our system down, but it will disconnect our system from other systems, from other environment. But if the motherboard, can we get redundancy in motherboard? When we want to avoid single point of failure, we say we want redundancy, right? We want to make our system redundant. So how we can get redundancy in motherboard?
dependency, Usually we need to divide it.
So we cannot, right? So we have only one motherboard in the system. So we can eliminate this one. We cannot do anything with this guy. Other than we have different other ways to get redundancy for the whole system then. Within the single machine, we cannot have the second motherboard. But we may have more RAM. How we make RAM redundant? By adding hmm, by adding more RAM, or we can say more than one RAM, right? Same in our power supply. We go for maybe two power supplies, right? And CPU, we may have more than one CPU.
Yes.
Yeah, in
Possible.
in servers, in these PCs we have single PC CPU, right? But in servers we have more than one processors. Only we depend on server hardware to install server operating system on top of that hardware, because that hardware can provide us with more redundancy. So each and every component can have, we may have more than one in server side other than motherboard. 2 3 classes back, one Indian guy I had in class, and he mentioned they have customized the systems for second motherboard as well. But I don't believe, I have no idea, but in technology and everything is possible, right? So it can be, but so far in production worlds, in enterprise, there is no second motherboard in the servers, in server hardwares. We have only one. So as we are saying, we can add more RAM to make the RAM redundant. For processing, we are going with more than one CPU. Network adapters, we may have more than one network adapters. Power, we may have two powers in each server. One will go to the outlet, wall outlet, that can be connected to any hydro company. That in our case, it can be Toronto Hydro. And the second maybe is going to generator or some other solution the company has in the environment, right? No, all the big companies have multiple supply lines, right? More than one. If they are getting connection from ISP, they have two ISPs connection, one from Bell, one from Roger, right? If the whole company goes down, Bell or Roger, even then they have connectivity, right? So same in the power, they have multiple options available for the powers. But can we get redundancy adding more hard disk? So if we have in these PCs, we have one hard disk. In server, we may have multiple hard disks, more than one. So it means we are getting redundancy by adding the hard disks.
Once we have them, because they always want to be on the rate. Right?
Yeah, it means we have to do something. Otherwise, if just adding the hard disk, we cannot achieve redundancy, right? So if we are adding bunch of disks and each disk is behaving separately, and the disk one is getting failed and get crashed, we cannot get that data from other drives. So we have to go for some technology to get the hard disks highly available or redundant. So we cannot Pardon? We cannot. Oh, no, I cannot change it. It's primitive application, the the paint. So just add here cannot. So we cannot achieve redundancy by simply adding the hard disks. We have to use some technology to make them redundant. If I assume it's my PC, I can see there more than one drives. How we represent the drives? So it can be C backslash, right? So it can be E backslash. In my PC, this one you guys are using right now, there are two, you guys can see two drive letters. When you open your file explorer, you guys see C drive and E drive, right? E is written SSD and the C for system drive is there. Either we have two hard disks inside.
Hard disk. Here
We have two hard disks. One is SSD and one is HDD in our case,
yeah.
in our class. But can we have, if we have only one HDD drive or SSD drive, can we have these two letters then?
Yeah.
Or we will have to stick only with one letter?
No, we can have more than one.
How?
Like just partitions.
What is partition?
We divide hard disk.
Divide hard disk by cutting.
When installing, they ask us
Hmm?
the capacity is divided.
So we create logical groups, right? We bring them in a logical way. We may have more than one volumes on top of that. That can be C, E, F, how many we want. So if this one is a simple one hard disk, on top of that we may have more than one drive letters that represents the volume, right? So we are logically dividing this hard disk. So if we can divide one single disk logically in multiple drives, if we have multiple drives, can we then represent all of those drives with single letter, the vice versa of it? For example, if I have one drive here, second drive, third drive, so I have 3 HDD drives. When we had one drive, we were able to divide it logically into 2, 3 or 4. But if we have 3 drives, can we convert them into a single drive? Or we can represent them with only one letter? How?
Only one letter? That means like C drive, C drive, C drive.
Yeah, I'm saying like this. Can all of these can represent,
C drive.
yeah, C or whatever you guys are not, okay, C.
No, yeah, not possible.
So this one is a that was one hard disk. We created on top of 2 or 3 volumes. We said it's a C, it's a E, or it's a F. Now we have 3 disks. Can we represent all 3 of them with one single letter? The Shahul is saying yes and Kunal is saying no. What do you think, Naveen?
I think so. It might be possible.
Might be possible, because in technology everything is possible or there is reasoning behind. So Ashley, what do you think? Possible? How? Ahmed?
Yeah, it's possible because it's like secret you can find nullify this. You can open.
Hmm?
It's possible because it's like
So what we will have to do? We will have to put all drives on each other and then tie them with something. So guys, yes, we can. As Shaul is saying, Shaul is right. So we have three drives. We can group them together and we can represent them with single drive letter. We means to say we can convert them in single volume. So they all of them will behave like a single drive. So but we cannot do it without any technology. We need some technology for that. So what that technology is? Hazrat Naveen,
Hmm?
which that technology is?
Disk management.
Hmm?
Disk management.
Disk management, the solution for everything disk management. Good. What do you think? Disk management is a technology
No, it's just stuff.
to combine the drives together.
now is going to innovate.
No, that's-
New technology.
In disk management, behind different tools are running, right?
yeah.
Otherwise, it gives us an interface to play around with our drives. We can see our drives there. We can see all the volumes there. We can shrink the volume. We can expand the volume, right? We can play around with our drives, physical drives. We can access them in disk management and we can play around. Otherwise, we just can see in our file explorer if they are already developed as a volume. We have promoted them as a volume, then we can see in a file explorer. But what we do in file explorer, we just create folders, remove folders, create files, we do those things. So but we cannot do anything with the drive, physical disk. We are just using that drive in file explorer. But in disk management we can play around. So disk management is not the solution. Shaul, what is the solution?
I've seen this word before, but I'm not sure that I should propose. It's called RAID or something, ARRAY or something.
Yeah, RAID is the solution. So see here, before we had one drive example and we had two letters on top of that. What we are usually doing in our PCs, our home machines, right? We always create different partitions. And then in this example, we had three disks in one and two disks in one. We group them together and we give them a single letter. And after grouping these drives, can we give them more than one letter? So they're gonna represent letters means partitions, as Naveen was saying. So can we create more than three partitions then on top of these three drives?
You mean like the three pieces,
Yeah.
we have, right? We put C and E as well.
So we grouped all these three drives together. Now they are behaving like one drive, right?
Yes.
Using RAID. And then can we create more than three C, E, F, G like that volumes on top of it? More than three?
Yeah.
No.
After combining them, maybe.
And give each other some party, man. You are not on the same page every time. So Naveen is a deciding factor here. Please, would you like to decide who is right and who is wrong?
I'll go yes.
Yes. See, when we said first, we had single drive and we can create logical units on top of that, multiple, right? Volumes, logical units, logical. And then if we are grouping bunch of drives together and now they are behaving like one, on top of that we can again create the multiple volumes, as many as we want. Before we group them logically, physically they are separate, we logically group them together. Now our system knows it's a one hard disk, and now we are creating partitions on top of that hard disk. So that can be again, when its status is one disk, we can go with C, E, F, G, H, how many drive letters we want to use, right?
So there's no limit for that. Like once we combine everything, is there any limits or just
No. Limits goes with the how we create the partitions.
Okay.
What technology we are using to create the partitions, that is MBR and GPT. Those limitations comes there. We will discuss those as well. But as such, if we are not bringing those things in our mind, we can go unlimited, right? But how many letters we have? 26. In English, we have 26 letters. Alphabets.
Yes.
Here we,
But yeah,
we have
Alphabets are 26. Out of those, one for C drive, that is fixed, and one for DVD. Usually it's D. And how many remaining then?
in floppy also you have to manage.
24.
If we have floppy nowadays we don't have. But if we have one, will go for floppy. You are right.
One is our external like pen drive.
No, then that comes up. If you will, filled up with your letters, then external drive is nowhere.
I will say 20 after discount.
Yeah, 23 or 20 like that. No? We can't go beyond. We can. There are different ways. But as we are going with the letters, then yeah, maximum 23 maybe. So what technology are we are using to group all of these together, and why we are grouping these drives together?
To for redundancy.
I want to listen from Ashley or Ahmed. So Ashley, we just said everything. You just need to repeat. Why we are grouping these drives together? What the reason?
What you said for redundancy.
Redundancy. To avoid single point of failure. So we don't want these drives to be a single point to fail the system, right?
Yes.
So they can be highly available. If any of the disk fails, if this disk fails, we want rest keep working, and we want this data that is sitting on this failed drive should be available as well. We don't want to lose that data, right? So if we have here 3, here 2, if we it's one is failing from here, still data should be available. Is it possible, Ahmed?
Yeah, it's possible, but how can we know it's failure about failure or not?
Hmm?
How can we know if that's failure or not when we have like 4 disks?
Yeah. If you are dealing with the servers, most of the time, or 99.9%, we are making disks highly redundant in our servers. So when you will see on the server, there are 3 types of lights on these drives. One is red, one is amber, and one is green. If it's green light flashing, then it's good. It's healthy drive. It is amber light, then okay, it's a caution warning. This drive is going down. Be careful and be cautious, and you guys can replace at that time even. And then if it's a red, then drive gone. Drive is no more there. and that's the time we need to replace that drive immediately, right? So that's one way. And then there are different third party tools available. We are sitting in the office, we can keep an eye on our servers, how they are behaving and what's going on there, right? We are not all the time in the data centers. So the technology we are using to group these drives together, and on top of that to create the volume. And as we are saying, if one or two drives within that group fail, even then the data should be available and we shouldn't lose any data, right? So that technology is RAID. And RAID stands for redundant array of inexpensive or independent both are in use. When we use independent, it means each and every drive before RAID was independent, standalone disk that has nothing to do with other drives. And inexpensive means we use another term in production world, JBOD. What we use?
JBoard.
So if let me write down here.
Is the least expensive.
Hmm?
JBoard is very less expensive.
Less expensive. What's JBOD stands for? No, Ashley. No, I guess only Ahmed knows.
No.
No. So just bunch of disks. How simple, right? JBoard, just bunch of disks. Mean to say, storage is very expensive thing in production in companies. We have to go with SAN, DAS, NAS, multiple solutions are there. SAN is very expensive. So now gradually technology is moving towards that era, so where we can use inexpensive, very cheap disks and bring them together and use it as a storage. So in RAID, almost we do the same thing. We collect inexpensive disks together. If I'm going to buy, for example, 73 GB HD, how much it will be expensive? $2 only. But if I'm buying 10 terabyte, the single disk, it will be very expensive. So if I can bring bunch of 73 GBs hard disk together, and I gonna achieve the same capacity I'm getting from 2 terabyte or 3 terabyte or whatever it is, right? So I can achieve that by grouping them all together in expensive disks. So from where this term came in, JBoard, just bunch of disk, and RAID is the technology that group those disks, bunch of disks together, and it will let them work together as a single drive. So they will behave as a capacity wise, they are going to behave one. And now we are saying we want to achieve redundancy as well. If we are grouping all the disks together virtually, if then any device will go down, the whole data gone, right? If we are not if we are just grouping the machines together, I have this drive, I have another, 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 and on top of that I have grouped them together. Now it's behaving as a one drive. It's a E. So if any of these drive, if this will go down, it will bring all of them down, right? My data will be lost, because when I was writing the letter or anything, data was striping across all of these devices. Some piece is written on this drive, the second may be over here, and the third block on this, fourth block here, fifth block here. So if one goes down, I don't have complete data, so it's gone. But using RAID, we are not only grouping them together, we are bringing them highly available. We are using the technology that writes the data in a way, if any drive fails, other drives can take over, and the data is still on other drives available. And if we are bringing any new device in the same array, it's writing the data back on that newly added drive, and that newly added drive will be the same what we have lost. So it will be exactly same what we have lost the drive. So how we have different RAIDs are available in the market. Each and every RAID is configurable in hardware and the software. We have hardware RAIDs as well. So they are physical RAIDs, physical controllers, and we have software controllers, RAID controllers as well. In labs we use software controllers. In production only physical controllers are in use. They are using, and they are no doubt they are expensive as compared to software controllers, but their performance is way better than our software controllers. But in labs we don't have access to servers and those RAID controllers, so we always go with software. And now Microsoft Windows, especially Server 2012 and 2008 onward, it's give us capability to create a RAID using its own tool within operating system. So we can say it's a built-in RAID, software RAID within the operating systems. So we can use that. Today we will use that to create the RAID and how RAID works, right? But what type of RAIDs we have, if we are saying it's a redundant array of inexpensive or independent disks, wherever you write just use one of these words, inexpensive or independent. So one RAID is, we have RAID 0, we have RAID 1, RAID 5, RAID 6 we have, and RAID 10. There are bunch of RAIDs, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all are there. But all other than these, they are not in use because they don't work properly. They are not helpful to us. Even RAID 0 is nothing for us. But we purposely, and there is reason to bring all the time on the board this RAID, because it helps in RAID 10. So it's part of RAID 10 as well. So we need to discuss this RAID all the time. Otherwise, 2, 3 exact copy of RAID 5. But the limitation is what RAID 5 does on all the disks, RAID 3 does on the same disk. So useless. So all of those RAIDs are not workable, especially in the production or where we want the data highly available. In production, most of the time you guys gonna come across with RAID 5, RAID 6, or most of the time. and very rare rate 10, and some smaller places may be rate 1 as well. Rate 1 most of the time small businesses are using where they don't need a bunch of storage, right? So they can go with that, otherwise rate 5 or rate 6. So what is rate 0 then? Hmm?
It's because red is
No. So rate 0,
When there's a two disk, it will say, for example, let's say information A, B. So when there's two disks, it will say A in one of the disks and the information B on another disk. So it's like half there, half there.
so rate 0, yeah, it's as many as drives we can add in this group, but the thing is rate 0 just group all of those drives together and will stripe the data across those drives, but it's not redundant. It doesn't provide fault tolerance. And other word we use, fault tolerance. So it does not provide what is fault tolerance.
Like if something happens, like the data moves from the server, like that data will be like from that disk around like disk fault that is wrote on that disk.
What is fault tolerance?
Tolerance, like for the reason, for tolerance means like in case if one goes down, it doesn't, for 0s, it doesn't provide a backup. Fault tolerance meaning is like if any of this fails, you must always like, it's another word for redundancy as well.
Yeah, so if we just want to play with the words, it means this rate cannot tolerate any fault. So in case of any fault, it's gone. It cannot tolerate. So when we say fault tolerance, there are rates they can tolerate the fault. They can handle that fault, but some of them cannot. So it's one of them that cannot tolerate the fault. So it does not provide fault tolerance. It just group the devices, drives, together to provide more storage. Then we have RAID 1. What RAID 1 do?
Mirror.
Mirror. So it mirrors the data. Mirror mean if I am standing in front of the mirror, what mirror will show me? Myself, right? The exact copy. So we may have only two disks in this RAID. So mean to say minimum 2 and maximum 2. So it mirrors the data that makes it highly available but reduce the storage capacity. So when we are using for example, two disks, one is for writing the data and the second just creating a copy of that. So we are just having another copy of data, so we need all the time another disk for copying the data. So how much capacity is available? We are using two drives, but the capacity available is of one drive. So one drive gone for providing the redundancy. So redundancy takes one drive away from us. So writing and reading the conversation or transaction, writing and reading transactions are faster than others. When we say writing and reading, the reading transactions are faster, what does it mean?
Copying is fast.
So when we will discuss the other rates, then we will come to know, okay, how writing is faster here. It just needs to create a copy, another copy. It doesn't need to do anything else. Just creating a copy, it's a faster. That's why it's a faster. But the reading, how reading is faster when the data is on two disks? How?
For example, like in SSD, it's fast. For example, like in SSD, is fast.
SSD is faster.
Reading,
So you will, putting a lot burden on the company. Naveen, they will fire you immediately, man.
yeah,
They will say you are very expensive.
yeah.
They are going with Gboard, JBoard, and you are bringing them to SSD.
In this grade one, we can have only two hard disks, right? So the capacity is not much, so it's easy to easy to read.
Yeah, basically,
If it is much
it's up till only one drive. The data is basically sitting on one drive. The second is a copy of that. So when we are just going to read the data, where the data will get processed, it can be on only one drive and it can be only two drives. If it will happen on two drives, it will be faster. The file, but in this case, it's not the case. In mirroring, the data is basically get processed only on one drive,
Yeah.
right? So the as we have can see the speed on our single drives, the basically it's the same speed, right? So let's move forward on the RAID 5. So then where we can use this one, RAID 1, as I said, the small businesses, as it's only we can have two disks in it, right? So one for data writing and second for the mirroring the data. So two disks we can have in smaller environments.
So Hyper 5 requires 3 disks.
Minimum three disks. Minimum three.
Read file is mostly used, I think.
Yeah, most common and most well known RAID is RAID 5.
In summer 2012.
Yeah. RAID 6 is again good, but mostly is not in use, and we're gonna discuss that reason as well. So what is RAID 5 then? Stripes with parity. Shaul is bringing very heavy words to us, throwing towards us, and then we will have to understand what these words are, right?
But if we say the protection of data is no schema like that.
Schema the data.
No, protection is schema. So schema means that so that is stored. So
What schema will do here, Ahmed? Schema has nothing to do with storage. What is schema?
schema is the protection of the data stored.
Huh? Schema is a protection for
No,
storage.
it's like it's a database. You need to know database.
Schema is an entirely different thing, and that has nothing to do here.
Is it all that for it one? It's another words I can say. I mean, for it 0 is like does not provide fault tolerance. For it 1, I can say like it provides full.
It's provide tolerance. Yeah, yeah. Better to write here as well. Yeah, good. Up till one disk failure. So if one disk will fail, even then we will be able to keep working, and all the data will be available to us. And when one disk fail, what we do?
We will bring a new disk.
New disk.
We mirror the data from the digital.
So what if your manager Naveen is not giving you hard disk?
He has to.
Will you punch him?
No, he has to. We need to disk at least.
Will you be loyal to manager or the company?
Will I be
Loyal with manager or with company?
company?
Company. Then you should punch the manager. Okay, man, what are you doing? My server is going down.
I think I have to like
The next day will be, at home doing rest.
I know like for my protection I have to be loyal for manager. Not
To
for
the manager.
no,
Then if you will loyal to the manager and the server is down, he will put all the blame on you. And again you will be at home, get fired by the
yeah, it's
company.
like
Then what you will do now?
you said me like saying like
How we can save ourselves? I'm just doing, joking, but
yeah, but these things were
it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It's bitter reality in production worlds, in especially IT. It's not easy to take care of these things. What the best way to tackle these issues?
be technical.
Documentation. Whenever you want to do something, give in writing. Get in writing. Manager can do anything with you. So when manager do verbally, never ever do anything, even it's a small task. Ask him, sir, just for my, uh, just give it a writing, right? Send. Just can you please send me an email? So I'm not gonna forget it. So all the time writing. So RAID 5 data is striped across the drives, and on one drive parity checksum what does it mean? Data is striped across all the drives while parity checksum is get written on one of the drive for that data. What does it mean?
Say that again.
No, it doesn't mean anything to you. So see, if we have 1, 2 and 3 drives, I guess we should move to another slide, right?
No,
It's just we have to write RAID 5.
yeah, not the same as
Okay.
In school days, like we were small, the teacher like is continue up, then 2 lines bottom, then 2 lines from.
No, smart boards are really good. But just to record the things, need to sit on the chair, otherwise, the best way is on board. So, everyone done? You're welcome, boss. So, see if we have 3 drives 1, 2, and 3. And we have RAID them in RAID 5. So RAID 5 is in place. So in RAID 5, if I need to write anything, for example, if I'm writing AB here, then CD, I'm writing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? So you know I'm in KG class. So the next letters are CD. It will be get written on the second drive. And if I'm moving forward, EF will be on another drive. In the meantime, when I'm writing AB here, the parity for that will be get written here. So I'm just for understanding, I'm giving it P AB, and then for CD, parity will get written here. So P CD, and the parity for EF will get written here. And it keep doing like this. So it's striping the data across all the drives. When we are writing, some block of the data is written on drive 1, the second block on drive B, drive second drive HDD2, and the third block on third drive. But in the same time, it keeps writing the parity on other drives as well. So in this way, all the time when one disk go down, if this disk goes down, it's down now. See, I have parity for AB on this drive. Parity, it's a parity, it's not fully data, because you know we are using in RAID 5 2 disks that are available for storage, and one is used for parity. When we say one for parity, it means it's not a dedicated disk for parity. No, It's again parities are spread across all the drives, but as the storage capacity, the one drive space is taken by parity, and two drives storage capacity is for our data return. So when this disk goes down, at least its parity is available, and parity is a mathematical checksum. As you guys have, we went through our IP addressings and then we discussed frame. There is CRC, right? It's like that. It keeps the track of all the data that is written in AB block. And over here, when that goes down, it recalculates the data. And as we are inserting new drive in the system, it brings it start rewriting that drive as well. Parity calculates all the missing data and it gets written on the newly added drive. So all the time one parity is available for the block of the data, for each and every block of the data. And so what we get in RAID 5, so it's tolerant up till how many drives? One. So if one drive goes down, data will be still available. So in reading transactions, will be faster, but writing will be slower as compared to RAID 1.
So it is full fault tolerance and minimum I need 3. What it is.
Yeah. So minimum drives 3 are required, and maximum how many? And maximum 32. Minimum drives for RAID 5 are only 3 are required, but the maximum it can go up till 32 drives. And whatever the case, either we are 3 or we have 32, it's redundant for the failure of one drive. It can afford one drive failure.
Even if it's 32 and
Yeah, if we are making a RAID 5 on top of 32 drives, we can afford a loss of one drive. And all the rest 31 are available for data capacity, right? We can write the data and we can do everything. So when we say reading transaction will be faster but writing transaction will be slower, how?
Because reading is faster because it has like parity on another. That's the reason.
So now data is stripped amongst 3 drives, across 3 drives. You know, for example, I have a Word document containing bunch of lines. I'm accessing that file. If I'm accessing that file from one drive, it will get processed in that drive, and that drive will have to process all of that data. But if that the same amount of data is get processed across 3 drives, then now 3 drives are processing that file at the same time, so processing will be faster. If we have only one drive of 1000 GB, 1 terabyte, is the processing will be faster or slower while we want to read the data?
Sorry, repeat again.
I have 1 terabyte drive, right? As compared to maybe only 200 GB, where the data will be get processed fast. I want to read something, and the data will be processed. So where will be it will be faster, on 1 terabyte or 200? 200. Or if I have 3 drives of 1 terabyte each, and now we have one drive 3 terabyte, where will be the data processing will be faster?
Where three are divided. Where three are divided in 1000, like 1 terabyte each.
For example, I have 3 drives.
Each 1 terabyte.
Each drive is 1 terabyte. So here 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte, I have 3 drives each of 1 terabyte. They are grouped together. On the other hand, I have 3 terabyte data. If I am accessing some file,
So it will be first on the right, like where three tip is divided.
so where the data will be processed fast, Naveen is saying where I have 3 drives grouped together. Ashley,
I think 3 terabytes is fine.
yeah.
1 terabyte.
uh, no, what do you mean? Here, there are
And
where
you're asking whether here or there, right?
yeah,
So I go from there.
the 3 one.
I just told like 5 terabytes, I think.
Ahmed, 3 terabyte. So you wanna stand out, right? In the class. So guys, everyone is right except Ahmed sir. So data processing will be faster where we have grouped 3 drives together, and if it's in RAID 5, data is across on written on 3 drives. So the file I have file size, for example, that what I'm trying to access, file size is 100 MB. If it's on 3 terabyte drive, it's gonna process all 100 MB data, right? So it takes time. Here in this case 33 MB. again 33 MB, and then 33, right? Or 34. And they are processing at the same time. That as the file system will start working, will start looking the data in drives, here it has to find within huge disk and will brings the pieces of the data from 3 terabyte. On the other hand, they have to bring from 3 different disks. So 1 terabyte is processing separately, 1 terabyte is processing separately, and third drive is processing separately.
At the same time.
So processing will be faster on multiple drives instead of single drive. So when we said in RAID 5 reading transactions will be faster, that's exactly we want to say. So data is
Divided.
spread across 3 drives. So all 3 of them are processing the data. But we are saying writing transaction will be slower. Why? Why it's not, the rule doesn't apply, the same rule apply here?
It's proof, right? It's a bunch of
Like
So that time
so it takes 9 by 1 storage.
No, come up with the exact
it's
thing.
creating partition also, like no, sorry, the parity for each one. That takes time.
Naveen is the man. So while writing the data, it's not only writing the data, it's calculating the parity as well. It has to calculate the parity for each and every block. Same time, when it's writing the data, as one block will be get written, it have to calculate the parity. Parity is not simple as this data as we have written and it has to mirror. It's not mirroring, it's parity. It has to create parity. Parity is a checksum, mathematical checksum, right? So only because it takes smaller place as compared to mirroring, right? So while doing that calculation, it takes time.
So it's shape parity. I thought it's 1 by 1. So it's right all together at the same time. It's parity, right? It's kind of downloading 3-4 files at a time. Maybe in family with
So the another thing, if one disk fails in RAID 5, and we add or we replace that disk, how the recovery will happen?
From the parity, like the storage.
How fast it will be as compared to RAID 1?
saving some.
Sir, if one disk fails in RAID 5 and we will add another disk to replace it, and then that disk should be rewritten, right? So rewritten where will be faster, either in RAID 1 or RAID 5?
Yes, it's copying exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, like in RAID 1, the data is coming from one disk. But here, like each one has like parity. So data will come from all of them to that disk. So, is that way?
Yeah, it takes again mirroring. It has to just again copy all the files on the other. Maybe if it's 1 terabyte, it may can take maximum 30 minutes to write the whole data on another disk if data is of 1 terabyte. In this case, again all the calculation will happen and the read return will be slower as compared to mirroring. due to parity. Again, the parity is the reason.
So that means as each and every disk starts to fail and fail, that means is it like rewritten or becomes slower and slower?
No, actually, we can afford only one disk failure. If the second will go down, the rate is gone.
Like, okay, let's say one is down, we replace that one.
Yeah.
So when we replace this data return will be slower, is it?
You know, it's not that much slower we can feel. We are just comparing
Okay,
with RAID 1.
okay, understood.
So as when we are going to choose which rate should we use, we are just look like this. We are looking at their advantages and disadvantages. Which should we choose, right? So as a comparison, it's look like that. Otherwise, in the back end, the things are happening. And if we will see in that way, and if when we were doing the lab, you guys may can feel something. When we add a disk again, we swap the disk and replace the previous disk, and data start resyncing. During the resyncing process, us we can feel a little slower performance. RAID 1 resyncing will be faster. In RAID 5 resyncing will be slower. And sometimes due to this parity calculation, then if a data is huge, it can take maybe more than 1 day for resyncing. But it doesn't impact on the users. The reason is user has data available, but the performance will be slower a little bit. For example, I'm right sitting there typing some file. I will may feel okay, man. I'm writing slow. I'm typing and my computer showing me the same words a little late, right? As compared to the earlier time. So it's like that. So usually when it happens, we can afford that because data is more important at that time as compared to performance. So if it's not get rewritten or it's not resynced and the second fails, this goes down, we are losing everything. So we don't compromise on at that time. We always and it's a hot swappable. When we another term when one disk goes down, it's hard swappable is a technology we can replace the disk while disks are running, right? Machine is running, system is on, we just replace the disk.
Yeah.
See, we say just let me write down anywhere. Just when you guys will see the videos, it will be there for you guys to search, right? So hard swappable. So we can summarize by saying RAID 5 is storage efficient, it's providing efficiency in storage, excellent in security, but decent performance, right?
Yeah.
if I'm using these words, efficient storage, so again we are comparing it with RAID 1. RAID 1 take away half of the storage and it takes away one third of the storage, right? Then excellent security means data is more secure
Yeah.
here as compared to as compared to
As compared to
no answer. So we cannot go for a comparison because RAID 1 again provides the
same
us
thing.
the security as well. So it's excellent securities again it's providing excellent security as well and performance is decent as compared to RAID 1. RAID 1 is faster a little bit and it's a little slower when we are recovering the data. So class is boring or very boring?
Anyway, still on holiday mode.
Holiday mode. Pardon? Go back? Where? I don't have any space behind. Okay.
For a moment, Rama said, "Can we go back?" Then I thought we can go back home.
So what is RAID 6? What does this smile mean?
Two parity.
Two parities, so double parity. Is Google open or something else open?
Google is open.
I could be more happy if Shaul was open instead of Google.
No, only for 6. I was curious. So 6? What is that?
So RAID 6 we can say is like RAID 5. But as Shahul is saying, double parity. So then for this RAID we need minimum how many disks? 4 disks for double parity. And again, you know, if it's a double parity, half of the space is taken by this double parity. For single parity, only one disk. But if it's a double parity, then 2 disks are going for that. What the extra disk we are adding just for parity, not for our storage capacity. So RAID 5, it means again in this way it's that more efficient that RAID 5 give us more capacity, storage capacity as compared to RAID 6.
So maximum we can go up to
32.
32. But if that means this time if two disks, if we can take up to two disks maybe.
Yeah. See, here we can afford two disks failure, but the storage is expensive thing. So most of the people stick with RAID 5 then. And if it creates two parities, while writing the data, it will be slower than RAID 5. But in reading it's same. Or maybe it's a little faster than. So another one is RAID 10. RAID 10, or sometimes we say RAID 1 and 0. So we can say it 1 and 0. So this RAID is nested or hybrid. In RAID configuration. Why? It mirrors the data like RAID 1, and it stripes the data like RAID 0. So how do we configure this RAID? For example, we have this drive, this drive. We have two drives, right? Then we have two another drives, 1 and 2. We are grouping both pairs separately. In RAID 1, what RAID we are using? RAID 1 here, and RAID 1 here. At least we need 4 drives for this RAID, at least.
Is it RAID 1 or RAID 0, right?
No, RAID 1, RAID 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both pairs we are grouping them separately, and then what we are doing, we are using hybrid solution, right? Hybrid means mixture of different things, right? So the second we will bring on top of it, and it will be a RAID 0. It's a RAID 0, and altogether we're gonna say it's a RAID 1 and 0. So RAID 10 is altogether whatever we are going to write on one disk, it will be get mirrored on the second disk. But because we are grouping them all the drives in a RAID 0 as well, so it stripe the data across the second pair, right? So data processing, when we are reading and writing, it coming from two drives, but when we are writing the data, mirroring is happening and striping is happening at the same time. So it's a hybrid solution. We use this RAID 10 when the data is highly critical. We say we want this data highly available at any cost.
Like banks and stuff.
No one use, mostly it's very expensive solution. Yeah. So RAID 5 works better. Now we have very advanced technology, right? So far we are talking about the basic ones. So there are multiple solutions now available. It's very expensive actually. So if it's only 4 disks, if we have more disks, then we are going in pairs. So it's redundant. It can afford failure of one disk in each group. So it provides tolerance up till failure of one drive in each group. We use it where data is more crucial for us. Minimum 4 disks. Required. So it provides decent storage, excellent security, and way better performance. Any question, any confusion, or only confusion? So guys, we have only one server, so we need to add another server first. So everyone has template, right, available? There's no template. So please right click on this template. First simple click. Oh no, it's server 2016. So template server 2016. I'm waiting for others. So everyone got template. So please right click and then come to manage, and then click on second option, clone. Is wizard opens for everyone?
Yes.
So please click on next and then again next, and please choose the second option, create a full clone. Select that one, create a full clone, next, and give it a name. Just we need to label it. So we have nt -tor -fs1, nt-tor -fs1, and you guys can browse to SSD drive. Click on browse, click on your SSD drive and then click on make new folder. And give it a same name there. So it's nt-tor -fs1. Then select this folder, click OK. And in your case it should be E /NTTOR FS1. So click on finish. So is it clone ready for everyone? Please let me know when it's ready. So guys, please click on close and then click on power on. So from your top tabs, please remove this one, template server 2016. So accidentally we can start it. So just remove it. So now we have two tabs open, NTTOR DC1 and NTTOR FS1.
We don't need other machines today.
Right now we don't need, but on our server core we have our DHCP server, right? Our server core is a DHCP server. So the guys who have core, just turn it on. So we don't need to assign the IP address. Our server will get the IP address from DHCP server. So just click on NT core DC1 and power on. And come back to your server you guys are installing.
So as for all those who don't have, you just give IP address statically.
Yeah,
for FS.
yeah. I will be it on. The server core, our server core is a second domain controller right now, and the DHCP and DNS. Whatever we do usually on our GUI side, we have done all three things on our core. So everyone is on this page. So then please click next.
We show me the steps. I just open it the password.
You have done?
This is like, you don't ask any of these questions. Any steps, just ask me the password because he already opened the template. And I just opened it.
He turned on the template.
Yes.
So your template is not template. So go whatever you are doing and enter the password and follow the steps. Just enter your password, and the rest of the class please follow me. So please click on next and then accept. Are you on this page?
Yes.
Ahmed? Which page on your?
It's a login.
More help is
So WELCOME2, welcome to. So Ahmed, just come during the week one time and follow the videos and do all the labs. It will help you to become faster as well. It will be a refresh for you, and you will be with the class with all the labs.
Welcome on.
Welcome one, I guess. Yeah, welcome one.
What's wrong with this Windows? It's already getting right.
I'm coming there. Just let me finish this one. So please click on finish. And now our machine is ready, right? Just click on this icon to send control or delete. Are you on this page? Type the password. So WELCOME1.
He didn't do a clone.
I guess he did maybe. I will check. So everyone on this page, server is up. So please click on this local server We have done all the best practices on it. The only thing, just please click on Ethernet 0, the hyperlink for Ethernet 0, click on it, and then double click on this Ethernet 0, click on details, and you guys have gotten the IP address from your DHCP server, right? 192.168.10.101. Everyone got the same address, 101? Hmm? It's taking time.
No. Yeah, it's mine is 101. 10.101. Yeah.
Maybe you turned on your workstation and your workstation got the IP address from DHCP, so that must got 101. Yeah. So you can assign the same IP address, Shahul. So please come to the properties of IPv4. First uncheck this IPv6. It's only for Shahul. You guys are not going to do. You guys have gotten the IP address. So select IPv4 and properties. Pardon?
Remember my last class, it didn't work for me, so I don't even have an IP address on mine.
Let me come to you. So Shahul, these are the configurations. Please give your. So guys, please close this one. The network and sharing center. We have assigned the IP addresses, and then click on the hyperlink for computer name. Hyperlink for computer name, click on that, and then please click on change and give it the name as we have labeled it. So NT TOR FS1 FS1, and then the bottom area, please click on domain. Under member of, check domain, and then what we have domain name, Newtek. Just Newtek is enough. When we join the domain, machine uses NetBIOS name. So NetBIOS name is before dot. So we don't need to give .local.edu anything.
Second level domain. Second level domain.
Yeah, second level domain, good. So click OK. Is it asking for username and password? So administrator, and then password. And you guys can make sure password from here. Just simple click on this iSight button. So do OK. So man, you guys have class within class. So that can't work, man. So Kunal, let him handle himself. If you have any issue, ask me. Don't ask Kunal anymore.
My internet is still not connected.
Your internet? Do we need internet? What do you mean?
You just said when you put in the password, you're supposed to identify the network. My network is not connected.
No. So just guys, please click OK on it, and then cancel this one, and come back to your network and sharing center by just simple click on hyperlink for Ethernet 0 and disable this network card Ethernet 1. Right click on it and disable it. And then you guys can minimize it. We may need to come back here, and then please click on this firewall hyperlink for the firewall. It's good, and just make sure on your DC1 click on the tab for anti-Tor DC1.
The fireworks is supposed to be off, right?
Mhm.
The fireworks is supposed to be off.
No, no, no.
Yeah, it's supposed to be off.
Off, yeah.
Mine is on.
Yeah, on, click on local server. If it's on, turn it off and click on Windows Firewall. See, its domain networks firewall is on. So click on turn Windows Firewall on or off, and then turn it off. The rest are already off. The only domain one is need to turn off.
Mine is on, and even I don't read.
Now it should look like this.
No.
On
Mine-
local server, no worries. Just refresh it. The server manager.
No, like mine domain is like this is on, but I go to FS1 that new tag .edu automatically. I was fine, like I didn't get error.
No, come there now.
Even it's on.
It should be off, not on.
Then but
Turn Windows Firewall on and off. You did not follow me.
yeah, I followed you, but
Yeah.
the thing is this, like I did get error any here and it restarted.
Yes. Sometimes it's okay. It works, sometimes not. But most of the time it's not. Because if firewall is on,
it will not, like,
yeah.
join any-
it means all ports are. Now please come back to anti-Tor FS1, and now again click on hyperlink for computer name.
So
Yes sir.
still is on.
Still is on.
So can you go back to the steps now?
You are talking about DC1 or FS1?
The firewall.
Refresh here,
I make it on.
Okay, okay. No, this one.
That's this firewall is on.
Okay.
Are you on this now, FS1? So click on this hyperlink. Click on change and give it a name, anti-Tor FS1. You have done, Ashley. You are advanced in class. You are way ahead of class now. So domain name is Newtech, Newtech, Ahmed. So click OK. Supply the username and password, ADMINISTRATUR, administrator, and password welcome one. After giving the username and password, click OK. Log in as a domain administrator. Why it's too slow?
This level takes too much time.
So welcome to the Newtech domain. Click OK. Again click OK. close and then restart. Did you click on restart? So are you here now? So click on this button. So send Control Alt Delete, click on this button and give the, should I log in like this? Ashley, it's showing administrator. Should I log in? It's okay. He is stopping me. What the reason? Why Kunal is stopping me? Ashley, please answer.
Is the one stopping you?
Not good guy.
Because I already logged in like this. So.
No, we cannot log in like this. If we log in like this, we are again logging into the local computer. Now it's a member of domain, right? So we will log in as a domain administrator. Then it will be a part of domain. If we are using the local credentials, it means we are not logging to the domain. Again, it will be a standalone machine only. Then no reason to make it a member server to the domain. So please, when we are on this login screen, there are on the left side, bottom left side, there are two options. One is the same administrator and second is the other user. So please click on other user.
And then I should sign up now.
Okay, and I'm waiting, just let me know when you are here. So while it's you are coming there, we have discussed there are two ways we can log in. NewTek / administrator. We will log into domain or administrator at newtek.edu, right? So what is NewTek? If we are logging in administrator at newtek.edu, what type of this login?
This one.
There is one specific word for this username.
It's the we use in admin center. It was showing the two names. This
So it's a UPN, user principal name. It looks like email, but it's not email, right? It's UPN. And the second way is a traditional way. The traditional way is, are you on this page now, Ashley? So type new tech / administrator, ADMINISTRATOR, right? And password welcome1.
this same account name. I say only you.
So if your machines are up, please right click on this tab for NT-TOR FS1. Right click. Oh, it's asking for VMware tools. Let me log off and log in again. So again, now we are already it's NewTek / administrator. So please right click on this NT-TOR FS1. Everyone on the same page? What he is doing?
It says like getting Windows ready. Don't turn off your computer.
Why did you turn off the machine? can you see, Shaul, either it's for updates or just for the user preparing the.
It's done. It was meant to restart the system.
So please right click on this tab and then click on settings. So how many disks we have, Ahmed, right now? 4 disks are here. Disk, hard disk. So we have only one hard disk, right? It's our system. To check how to configure the RAID, we need some disks first, right? If we have disks, then we can create a RAID on top of it. We can configure a RAID. So please click on this add button and please do no. In your case, I'm doing yes. And then hard disk is already selected. Just click on next. Again next, just next, and then we have 60 GB. Okay, go for that. 60 is good. So next, and just finish, and then click again. We need to add 2 disks right now. We will configure the RAID 1 first. Yes, sir. Follow. Yeah, we are for the second disk.
No, like for the first.
Yeah, the same drill. So after completing this, add another one. So hard disk, just click next, 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 finish. That's it. See how difficult task this one is. Just repeat this one. And don't go on the mobile now. Otherwise I'm going to take away your mobile and you will get in the next class. So now we have 2 disks, right? 60 GB, 60 GB, basically 3, but 1 we are already using. So click OK. And now click on Tools. And we have computer management here. Do we have or no?
Yes.
The second option is computer management. Click on that. And then click on disk management. The second last. Double click on it or single click, whatever you want. So how many disks right now we have now?
3.
Just right click on your C drive. Can you check the options what available?
Yeah, on explore everything.
No. See, we cannot format this disk. We cannot extend volume. What we can do only shrink volume. And now please right click on this disk 1 where written unknown and 60 GB. Right click on it. Click on online. And then again right click and click on initialize disk. When you will click initialize disk, one window is open and it's saying you must initialize a disk before logical disk manager can access it. What is logical disk manager? So whenever we are creating the volumes, it's a logical manager is there that is helping us out. And what it's saying, use the following partition style for the selected disks. Now we have 2 styles available, MBR and GPT. What is this partition style? What they actually does? Why there are 2, MBR and GPT? Why not only 1? Hmm? Graphical one,
I
and other for core, and the third one should be there for nano,
only
and fourth one for containers. Now we have bunch of options of installation. It doesn't go with the installation options.
I only know like Windows 10 require master GPT.
Google Badsha is open.
No, I wasn't looking at it.
Yeah. So what is MBR and what is GPT?
Windows 10 require must to install GPT. I think.
Pardon?
Windows 10 when you install it must be GPT.
Must be GPT. Windows 10?
Not Windows 10 like Java disks.
No, no. No must just. Who can throw the light on it?
Ahmed, any idea?
One thing, when we are going for the partitioning style, it means we are going to tell our operating system how you are going to behave with the hard drive. What type of partitioning is it stores when we configure either MBR or GPT, it stores all the informations regarding the partitioning, from where the partitioning is starting and where the ending is, right? If we are configuring 100 GB, 10 GB, 10 MB, so letting our operating system know how you can behave with your hard drive now, where the data will be, right? We can store the data. If we are storing on C, we can find on C. If we are storing on E, we can find on C. So related to all those informations get stored on drive. Which drive? Where operating system is, right? So operating system can deal with that. So over here we have MBR master boot record and we have GPT grid partition table. The GPT partition style is not recognized by all previous versions of Windows.
Yes,
Which previous versions of Windows?
like XP maybe.
No, the previous one is from 2016. 2012 is previous, but GPT is there.
Previous versions of Windows.
We don't have GPT in 2008.
Particularly is the older versions from
Yeah, but the MBR still we are using. Maximum still we are using MBR. It doesn't matter. So then what the difference? So master boot record. So it's one of the partitioning style. It limits us to go for single partition up till 2 terabyte. We can only create partition up till 2 terabyte. What is 2 terabyte partition size?
I have a question. So, if let's say if I put a 3 terabyte hard disk into a computer and want to do partition, so it only will take up to 2 GB of it, 2 terabyte of it. If let's say I take a 3 TB hard drive and I put in a system to install, and okay, what happened was when I open up the partition to extend and everything, and I only saw until 2. So is there a reason why it doesn't reach the extra, like it doesn't reach the full 20 terabyte?
Yeah. Partition, then first partition you can create of 2 terabyte and second of 1 terabyte. Then 3 will be covered. but in two partitions.
Okay.
It will recognize the hard disk, whatever the size of hard disk is, but it's talking about the partition size.
Okay.
I see.
Partitions will not go beyond 2 terabyte volume, you can say. So if we are creating the 3 terabyte on top of 3 terabyte hard disk, only one volume, then it will recognize only first 2 terabyte.
Yeah. Then
Rest is useless. Yeah.
oh, that's it. I can't.
If we are going only one single volume, right? We are, as usually we do in our PCs, if we have a 1 terabyte hard disk, we create only one volume. See, then it's okay. If it's 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, it's okay. 3 terabyte, and we want to convert only to one volume, it will be only 2
So
terabyte.
one partition of the 2 terabyte, we can open another volume
Yeah.
for memory.
Yeah, you can create another volume on top of it. Yeah,
Okay.
another logical unit of 1 terabyte.
Is it the same style as well? Like when you do have to like when you online or do something for extra 1 terabyte, how do I make it to another volume?
You know, when you are creating a volume, and we will do it right now,
Okay.
during the wizard will open, and you can allocate the space,
Okay.
right? You will limit the first volume, and then the remaining it will be unallocated space. It will convert into unallocated space.
Okay.
Right click and again create a new simple volume,
Okay.
and that will be create another volume on top of that disk.
Okay.
And MBR and GPT, then what is GPT? How much?
Oh,
Unlimited. The thing limits its operating system. Unlimited, but according to operating system and file system. So we can create partition as much of size as we want, but the thing is either operating system is allowing us for that or not. For example, Windows operating system limits it how much? Hmm?
Windows operating system.
Yeah. So we can go up till over here 128 partitions. Size is according to, we can go up till whatever we have disk, according to that size we can convert it to the volume. But the number of partitions we can go up till in Windows, we can go up till 128 partitions, but in MBR we can go up till 4 partitions, 4 primary partitions. And here we have 128 partitions. But in Windows, if maybe any other operating system, if it's putting no limit, we can go beyond that.
It's also in Windows for partitions.
In Windows, yeah, MBR restrict us to go for 4 primary partitions, not more than that, yeah. And here we can go up till 128 partitions.
What is the operating system and what is FS?
FS of file system. In MBR, it goes with BIOS. What is BIOS? basic input output system. You know, when machine is turning on and we go into the BIOS, it's that BIOS, right? So basically it's a chip that has all the informations stored in it. And over here we have new one, UEFI. What is UEFI? Oh, so unified, yeah, unified extensive
Bus is interface, I think.
firmware interface. Both are firmware interface. It's basic input output system and it's unified extensive firmware interface. When we are implementing MBR and we have BIOS, we cannot go for self correction. If disk is anything is gets corrupted, it cannot identify. MBR cannot identify. But if we have partitioned the disk using GPT, it has some mechanism to self correct the things. It can figure out. Whenever GPT writes the data, we are using GPT partition and it writes the data. It always creates some checksum for that, CRC.
Section.
So cyclic redundancy check. So if something goes wrong, it can not only figure out that one, and again it recover the right one and replace it and remove the corrupted one. So it's not a A+ class, so we can move forward. So please, MBR master boot record, we will go still with that. So click OK. And now if you guys will right click over here in unallocated space, which option is available?
New simple volume.
New simple volume. When we create new simple volume, what is new simple volume? When we create new simple volume,
To assign
Like when we have extra space and we want to utilize.
to assign the E like so that it can become
To
the
create a
function,
volume.
so that you'll be able to see it right fast use.
so when we are just creating a volume for a single disk, right? So we have a single disk and on top of that we want to create one volume, two volume, three volume, whatever. It's a new simple volume. And the rest, new span volume, new striped volume, new mirrored volume, new RAID 5 volume are grayed out. We cannot go for that right now. Why? It knows, system knows this guy has only one disk. So it just, we can go for simple volume. So just please right click on the second disk, disk 2. On this side, left side, where is written disk 2, bring online. Again right click and initialize the disk. Click OK. And now we are both are online and gets initialized, right? Now right click in unallocated space. How many options are available now?
3 more span, 3 more.
So span volume, new striped volume, mirrored volume. Only RAID 5 is not available. RAID 5 we need minimum 3 disks.
3 disks.
Do we have 3 disks?
No.
No, we have only 2 disks. So according to that it's showing the options. What is span volume? And what is striped volume? What is mirrored volume? Mirrored, we can understand, we talked about it RAID 1, right? But what is spanned and what is striped?
Right? At the moment, it's like unit stars like grade 0, unit stars like part of the information from the beginning.
So a spanned volume is where it enables us to group the disks together, but it will keep writing the data on one disk. When that disk will be full, it will overflow the data to the second disk, and there is no redundancy. Just it's grouping the drives together and keep filling the one disk. When disk will be filled up, it will overflow the data to the second disk. So it's very easy to expand if we want to group, and we can keep adding the drives into it, right?
So in this case, let's say this one is star, and currently we're using disk 0. Am I right?
No, it's not disk 0.
I mean, currently we are using, the disk that is being used now is 0.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, sorry, no.
Simple volume, it's not 0. It's for one disk, just we are formatting one disk to create a volume.
No, for a moment I thought the disk 0, which is above.
No,
I thought that is a volume method.
no. And then span volume, as I said, first one disk will get filled and it will overflow when it's full. The striped volume, what is that? You guys can say it's a RAID 0. The striped volume is a RAID 0. It will group all the drives together and it will stripe the data across all the drives, whatever are taking part in this RAID. And mirrored is RAID 1. So please click on new mirrored volume. And the wizard is opened up, so please click on next. And now one disk is already in selected area and one disk is in available area, right? So click on this available one and add it. Click on add and it will be shift to selected area. Now both are available, right? Are selected for this RAID. So total volume size in megabytes, this one. Maximum available space in megabyte, this one. And select the amount of space in MB is this one. Can we change it? No. It's just giving us option. So see, 61,437 MB and both are of 60 GB and half will be taken away. Total is available this. We cannot go for the rest, right? So please click next. And now it's assigning a letter E. That's fine for us. So next. Now another thing is here, file system. We were talking about, right? What is file system then? One is NTFS, one is REFS. What is the difference? What is REFS and what is NTFS? Okay, let's complete the lab with NTFS and we will discuss it. First, just let's NTFS selected. Volume label, give it a name, maybe mirror, MIRROR, mirror. And then perform a quick format. Select this option. Check this box, perform a quick format. So next and finish. Now it's saying the operation you selected will convert the selected basic disk to dynamic disk. If you convert the disk to dynamic, you will not be able to start installed operating system from any volume on this disk except the current boot volume. Are you sure you want to continue?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Click yes then. So if you guys will see in the bottom, it's showing black for unallocated space. We don't have any unallocated space now. The blue for primary partition. So we have this primary partition, right? The first basic partition. And then in red it's showing mirrored volume. So these two disks are now part of volume. So click on this file explorer and then click on this PC, and now we can see mirror as a E drive, right, with 60 GB available. If you double click on mirror E drive, right click, new folder, so give it a name. Why it's not typing? Mirror hyphen test. Open this folder. Again right click, come to new and text document. Click on text document and again give it a name, mirror test 1. Done. So open this file and type something. So we are going to test rate 1 and file and click on save. So done. Which corner meeting is going on now? Okay.
I missed make a new document. Right click here, and then text document. Open text document. Make a new layer. Test one. Then second is text save. Save. Yes. Okay.
So please now our RAID is healthy, working properly, right? So now we can remove one disk to check either if we are removing one, even then our RAID is sustainable or not. So please right click on this anti-Tor FS1 again. Click on settings. Select a second disk, hard disk 2. Don't select the first one, that is our system is there. So second disk and click on remove.
So remove.
Now we have only 2, right? Click OK. Minimize this file or just keep writing it. So we have removed our first disk. and RAID one is still functional. And if we will click on file and save it, it will save it, right? So if I minimize this file, minimize this file explorer, and see on your, let me drag it up so you guys can see on the board. So see, now one disk is showing missing and failed redundancy. RAID is working but redundancy gone, right? Now it's the time to bring a new disk and add into the RAID so it can become again healthy. So how we can do that? Come back to the settings of this, right click anti-tor fs1 settings, and then click on add. Hard disk is selected, so next, 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 and next, and finish. Now again we have 2 disks available. Click OK. Now it should be healthy, but it's not. Why?
Because the disk is not online or is in this slide.
So okay, bring it online. Just right click on disk 1
Just initialize.
that is showing unknown and initialize disk. MBR is good. Okay. It's still saying failed redundancy. So please right click on the survive the disk. The disk was surviving already, so the middle one, right click here and then click on remove mirror. Click on remove mirror, and what it's showing? Disk 2 and missing one. What should we remove? Missing one. Click on missing. Make sure, Ahmed, it should not be disk 2, otherwise RAID will gone. Missing 2 and remove mirror. Yes. Now it's showing healthy, but it's not completed yet. Now we need to add the disk. Again right click on this survived disk and then add mirror, and then we have one disk already. Select that and add mirror again and click OK. Yes.
Resyncing.
Now it's saying resyncing, right? When it's resyncing, open your notepad. Where is our notepad? Mirror test 1. Here is open.
Yeah.
Don't do that, man.
Decent performance.
You still have it. Remote.
It will be there.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, but so as I am experiencing, it's not coming up right. It's taking time. But if we have physical RAID, what we use in the real world, it's not the case.
It's not okay.
Yeah, it will be okay. So my file is available, data is there, and I can keep writing on it. And if I minimize it and open File Explorer, click on this PC. Now my mirror is again on the same stage. It's healthy, good to go. So it's a RAID 1. If I will remove both of the disk, Then what? RAID will be there?
No.
We have only 2 disks, right? So it's a full idea to remove the both of the disks, right? So let's go for the RAID 5.
Good question. So regardless of whichever disk you move, it doesn't matter because there's always zero will be run by the backup or the original one, correct?
Yeah, you can remove any of them. The reason is RAID technology is working behind. So we have given it a name, a virtual name mirror, and a letter E. That mirror behind has 2 disks. One is gone, it's okay. Both have the same copy. Mirror. Data is mirroring.
So the user said you wouldn't feel anything like this.
So guys, please now add 5 disks more. Right click on this, settings. Oh no, just 3 disks. We are going to configure RAID 5. So add, next, and change the size now. So we can identify while removing it. 120. So just change it to 50. 50 is okay. So next, finish. Again add, next, 50. Next, finish, and one time more. 50 and next and finish. 350s. Every batsman is doing 50. So done. Wow, Ashley. So we are going to, so everyone has added 3 disks. Click OK, and now please come back to your disk manager. Now we have 3 disks there.
Yes.
So bring the first disk online and then initialize. Am I fast?
One or two, three.
Bring all 3 of them. So initialize. Okay. And then the number 4 online. Then again right click and initialize the disk with MBR style. Disk 5, right click, online, and then right click and initialize the disk.
In my case, like they all gave me this slice at the first time, like they gave me an option to see.
Yeah, sometimes it gives. I was wondering it didn't give me, so I gave one by one. So all of them are ready now. Ashley, Ahmed.
Yes.
So please right click in unallocated space one of the disk, and now all the options are available. So click on new RAID 5 volume, and on wizard page click next, and now we have 2 in available and 1 in selected. So please select both of them available site. It's not selecting me both, so one by one. So click on first and then add, and then repeat. Again click on add. All should be on the selected area. So click next, and letter is now F, good to go. Next, and now label the volume RAID 5. RAID 5, and then check the box for perform a quick format. Are we together? So next and finish, and yes, sir.
Said yes, sir.
So it's taking time, huh?
What was it first?
Now, if you click in,
Please guys, click on your file explorer, and now we have 100 GB RAID 5. What should be the size? We have 3 disks of 50 GB each, right? 150 it should be, if all together, right? One for parity, 50 GB. Now so 250 GBs are here. We have 100 GB. Just double click on it and create one folder, or we can create directly a text document. Just right click and click on text document and give it a name RAID 5 test. RAID 5 test. Amal, if you will see, it's okay enough. No worry. So RAID 5 is ready to test, and file save. So go to the settings of NTTOR FS1, right click, settings, and remove one of the disks, 50 GB, the last one. We can remove any of them, but from bottom side I am removing disk 6. Remove. Okay. And can we still use it?
Yes.
So we have configured the RAID, it means properly. So my RAID is saying one disk is missing, but RAID redundancy gone, but we can still use it. All data is available. So just we need to add a disk, hard swappable disk, right? So right click,
Can you try removing one?
we,
it will fail. It will fail. Yeah, you can try, or just see how we are repairing it. Yeah.
for 4 and 5, we need 5 disks, but we are only using 3 disks, 3, 4 and 5. 1 and 2 is still in under maintenance of mirror.
Yeah, we have 2 RAIDs now.
Okay.
One is RAID 1. We grouped 2 of our disks in one RAID, and we grouped the 3 in another RAID. And we may have this type of configuration in production as well.
But we did add all of them to the 5.
No. RAID 2 are separate. RAID 1 is separate. We added 3 extra disks to create the RAID 5.
But in 5 we need 5 disks. In RAID 5 we need 5 disks to be collected.
No, minimum 3 disks we need. Minimum 3 disks. So if I will crash another disk, it means RAID is gone. Then we cannot repair it. Then we will have to reconfigure the RAID. Repairing option gone then.
So we can add
Then
one more.
I'm crashing another disk, then we will have to depend on our backups. Then we always, whatever we have backups in our environment, we will bring those tapes back, and then I will rebuild everything. I will bring my data back after configuring the RAID.
Now, while the end user or someone is doing this, like they wouldn't feel anything, even though another one more crashes. Let's say, for example, second one crashes,
Second one crashes, data gone.
they can't connect.
RAID gone, data gone. No disk will have any data for you guys then. Then we keep backing up the data using backups, full backup, incremental backup, differential backups, those backups.
Using that, and we just restore.
Yeah. Then we restore the data. But hard swappable, and now today we don't have time. We will move in the next class. We will be doing RAID 1, RAID 5, and RAID 10 again, but using Windows different options. We will be using file and storage services to do that. Whatever we are doing now, we were doing up till server 2008. From 2012, story is different. That story we will reveal on next Saturday. I wanted to do that today, but time is gone. So please add the disk again. Come to the settings of this VM. When I say go to the settings of VM, I should not need to say right click on this tab and go to the settings, right? No, we should be familiar. So just go to the settings of this and click add, and make sure hard disk is selected. So next, and then change the disk size to 50, and next, and finish. Do OK. And now the same drill we did for mirror. Click on one of the surviving disk, and then click on repair volume. When you will click on repair volume, disk 5 is there. Just OK, yes, and our RAID will be good.
So we don't need to make online and initialize.
We can easily add offline disk even when we are repairing the volume.
Repair volume and this file should be there.
In production, when we repair the RAID, what we do, we just bring the disk from the shop and insert it, or whatever we got from the store, we are inserting it. Everything will be done. We don't need to do anything. We just need to put off the previous disk, pull out, and insert the new one. Now our RAID is ready. If I open our file explorer, can we? It's resyncing, still resyncing, and as usual my file explorer and notebook on.
Might be 50. Yeah, I do.
See, this was not the time for mirror RAID, right? RAID 1. It takes always more time. RAID 5. Even we are doing just in a lab, we don't have any data on top of it. We have 2 lines there.
That's the reason you see the return is slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's healthy.
So now it's healthy. So we can open our RAID 5 test file, and we can so our RAID is healthy. So good, save it and close it, and gracefully please shut down all of the machines we have opened, and then shut down your physical machine as well. We are calling off the day. Any question? You are still trying resyncing? Just wait, no problem.